Hey MICR users, my name's Sam, and today we're going to talk about assigning invoices to checkbooks by vendor ID for Mekorma MICR users, using Dynamics GP 2018. Assigning a payment by vendor checkbook ID is most useful when you want to pay a certain type of vendor from a particular checkbook. For example, let's say you are paying grants, and the grant vouchers can only be paid by the grant checkbook, and not your operating checkbook. Or, let's say that you are managing properties, and each property has its own checkbook to pay the bills. The ability to assign invoices to specific checkbooks saves time and reduces user error, so when you go to build a payment batch for a specific checkbook, invoices will only be selected if they have specifically been assigned to that checkbook. There are 3 steps to know about this feature: how to assign invoices to checkbooks, how to create batches using your checkbook assignments, and how to automatically select payments using Mekorma multi-batch management. There are several ways to make sure that your invoices have checkbook assignments. The quickest way to assign a checkbook is to a whole batch. This works particularly well if you have a stack of invoices that should all be paid by the same checkbook. To do this, first open the Payables Batch entry window. Then, select the batch that you want to assign and the checkbook that you want to assign it to. Another way to assign a checkbook to each invoice is to do so upon entry. This method is effective if you are handling a group of invoices that are each paid by different checkbooks. To do this, open the Payables Transaction entry window. From here, enter new payment information, or pull up an existing voucher. Once the window is populated with the necessary information, open the Additional menu and select Assign by Checkbook. You can then select a checkbook that you'd like to assign this specific payment to. If you are using the purchase order system, you can still use the Assign by Checkbook feature. In this case, you can assign a payment to the original purchase order, and it will be carried through to the invoice. You could also choose to either assign the payment when you receive the shipment instead, or you can assign it when you match the invoice. Finally, if you have already posted the invoice but haven't paid it yet, you can change the assignment using the Transaction Inquiry by Vendor window or the Transaction Inquiry by Document window. To do this, open one of those 2 windows, which are both located within the Purchasing Area page under Inquiry. From here, select the payment that you want to reassign, open the Additional menu, and open Assign by Checkbook. From this window, you can then select a checkbook that you'd like to assign this payment to. Please note that this will not be doable on any posted invoice that has already been paid. It's a good practice to test the batch creation manually, using the process of building payment batches before fully automating it with Mekorma multi-batch management, also known as MMM. You will be able to set up multi-batch management with more confidence if you know what it is doing under the hood. First, type in a few vouchers and assign them to different batches that are associated with different checkbook IDs. To create a payment batch, open the Build Payment Batch window, formerly the Select Checks window, and type in the name of a new batch. Dynamics will ask whether to create it. Respond yes. Then, choose Computer Checks in the Origin field, and select the checkbook that you want to build payments for. In this case, First Bank. Save the batch. You will then be back on the Build Payment Batch window. Now comes the key step in this part of the process. Click the box to select vouchers by vendor checkbook ID on the Assign by Checkbook window, which should already be open. Clicking this box activates the feature, and now when you go forward building payment batches, only payments to vendors that have been assigned to the checkbook that you're building payments from will be pulled. Please note that if this box is not checked, then the Assign by Checkbook feature will not work when you build your payment batch. Additionally, in GP 2018, you have the ability to create a payment option ID that can be applied to any of your batches. This ID will store selected settings from the Build Payment Batch window, including your choice for checkbook assignments. To complete your testing, continue to fill out whatever additional selection criteria you wish to use, and as you go on to build or add to your batch, only invoices assigned to the checkbook that you're building will be selected. Try this for each of the checkbooks that you want to test. To add select vouchers by vendor checkbook ID to Mekorma multi-batch management, simply add this to your MMM process ID. To build your new process ID with the Select Vouchers by Vendor Checkbook ID feature included, first create a build ID with Select by Vendor Checkbook marked. You can then add any other filter you want, such as due date or discount date, payment priority, etc. Then, use this build ID in your process ID. Please note that you need to repeat the use of this build ID for each of your checkbooks to be sure that all of your invoices get selected. In this example, the first and second batches will contain the vouchers assigned to First Bank. and the third and fourth batches will contain the vouchers assigned to Uptown Trust. This feature will work on both check and EFT batches. By the way, there is an optional setup feature for Assign by Checkbook. This feature can be configured by opening the Assign by Checkbook setup window through the Purchasing Area page and under Setup. You can use this window to memorize a default checkbook by user. This is handy if you have different users designated for each checkbook. Please note though, the default checkbook for the user will override the default checkbook assigned to the batch that a given payment is a part of. And that's how you assign invoices by checkbook with Mekorma MICR. If you need more information on any of the processes mentioned in this video, please view the page linked in the description of this video for additional resources. We hope this video has been helpful, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.